Welcome everyone, today I'm going to make a 3-layer strawberry cake using freeze-dried strawberries, and this is what they look like. This is a new ingredient for me, so we'll see how this goes. We are going to make the strawberry cake, the strawberry Swiss meringue buttercream and orange curd as the filling. We're going to need a lot of energy and a lot of eggs, so let's go. First of all, I grinded up my strawberries in my food processor. Don't forget to remove the oxygen pack, I think. And then blend it into powder. We are going to use this in our strawberry cake and our strawberry buttercream. And now we're sifting it with our flour, baking soda, baking powder, and salt. On a side note guys, what do you guys think of the name Breaking Bake? My friend Dina suggested it. I think it's very catchy. It is a reference to something you may or may not know, but whatever, we'll go with it. The next step is to measure your wet ingredients, which includes oil, milk, and vanilla extract. Again, side note guys, I think I'm going to do my next macaron video in Malay language just to try it out. Be careful guys. So in my stand mixer, I'm beating my butter and sugar until it becomes light and fluffy. I'm using my stand mixer because I just don't got time to use my hands, really. And now we're going to add our eggs. We're just using egg whites here. We're not using egg yolks at all because we want our cakes to be pink and not yellow. And this is when it gets kind of complicated, just like any relationships. So you put a third dry first and then half of the wet ingredients, and then repeat that until you end with the dry. Did you understand that? I bet half of you don't. Mainly because baking is a science, and science is hard to understand unless you practice it. This is it guys, our cake is done, but it's not that pink, so I'm going to add a little bit of food coloring and mix it, but do not over mix, okay? So I'm putting it onto a sheet pan, and then I'm spreading it out, and then I'm going to bake it at 180 degrees Celsius for 20 minutes. And then I just let it cool to room temperature for half an hour. Now we'll move on to the next component, which is the Swiss meringue buttercream. This is my first time doing it, by the way. I'm using egg whites and sugar. Put it on top of a double boiler. Using my digital thermometer, I make sure it reaches 50 degrees Celsius, and then I'm going to whip it using my stand mixer again until it cools down. This is a crucial step, which unfortunately I did not take seriously. So what happened was my egg white mixture was still warm, and then I added my soft butter, and when I kept mixing, the buttercream turned to soup. Mr. Google said you need to cool it down to harden up the mixture, but when I did it, it did not work. So I put it in the fridge for around 1 hour, but it still did not want to whip. I was getting quite frustrated about my mistake, but I just set aside the old batch and made a new one. Repeated the same process, do this, do that, you know the drill. So making mistakes in baking is really common, and that doesn't mean that you give up entirely, okay? That's what I want to share with you guys. And then my food battery died. How convenient, but second time I did it, I learned from my mistakes and I got a really good strawberry buttercream. And now we're going to make the orange curd. So you can use lemon curd, but I only had orange in my fridge. So I didn't have enough orange juice. I'm just using this boxed orange juice. It's the same thing. You can use it. And then I'm going to whip my egg yolk, sugar, and cornstarch until it becomes light and fluffy. Once you reach that stage, just drizzle in your orange juice and mix it slowly. I really hope the curd works because I needed to serve the cake that same night. And now I'm putting the curd mixture on top of a double boiler and letting the curd heat up until it thickens for 8 to 10 minutes. When the curd reached my desired thickness, I strained the curd onto some butter and then it goes in the fridge to cool down. You know when I said that we're making a 3-tier cake, so this is the trick. So you take your cake pan and trace it onto the cake just like this. This is a trick from a professional chef named Christina Tosi. So the components for the cake are all prepared. So for the first layer, I piped a ring of buttercream and smoothing it out. Now this becomes kind of like a barrier for our orange curd that is going to sit in the middle of the cake. For the second layer, you take your pieces of cake and put it on top of the first layer like you're finishing a puzzle. I think this method is very clever and unique. And then you just repeat the same steps on the second layer. So I'm putting on my third and final layer. And now we're going to put it in the fridge for 2 hours. What's up, peeps? It's my grandma's house and we're going to decorate the cake now. So I really did not went overboard with the decorating because it's going to be eaten that night. My thought was as long as it's covered, it's good enough. Also, my decorating skills are not very professional in any way. I did not take any classes, I did not practice. This is just me trying my best. And our cake is done. You can see all the layers of cake, buttercream, and especially that orange curd.
Gracias.
Assalamualaikum Zombie. Saya rasa malam ni scene yang menarik.
Seriously guys, this cake is very good. My grandma loved it. I'm very proud of myself and thank you for watching.